Welcome everyone. This is our Sprint 7 review meeting. Um, Again, the goals of the Sprint are, our Sprint review are to just show you what we've done and let you know what we did not complete. And then at the end, we celebrate as always. And just a friendly reminder, please mute and hold your questions. We'll try to have a Q&A at the end if possible. And again, we also try to monitor the chat log here, and you can enter those throughout the demo as well. Oops. Apologies for there. Um, Again, we've just completed week 19 out of 26, and we will be going into Sprint 8 starting Monday. Just really quick, want to recap what we've done throughout phase 1. Um, we've really just gone through building from the basics, creating content, just basic content editing, using some of the navigation, even creating specific content types such as calendars and general page, and adding multimedia, some of the user roles. And then we've also covered some content layout for styling and just configuring and setting up some of the themes. And also a big part of this is content migration, getting data out of your current systems and into the new Drupal platform, and especially importing some of the file assets that are related to some of your content, and even going through some of the module updates and showing you how Google Analytics was implemented, and even setting up the Google Site Search appliance and the RSS feeds. Also, just want to recap really quick. In Sprint 6, which started phase 2, Beth took us through um, editing some nodes, manual curation of some of the news pieces, showed you how to implement the site-wide social icons, and even how we set up adding a URL for iTunes U. And also just really quickly going through some of the content layout options for styling the footer, primary navigation style plugins, and even some of the content pages for staff and faculty and the styling options there, as well as some of the news content. And also just how to use Panelizer, adding a pane, things like that, and also the first step in setting up the single site emergency message, which will allow you to quickly communicate any issues that were happening immediately, needed everyone's attention. And today, Ryan's going to take us through some more pieces of content styling. And one of the big focuses or transitions in phase 2 here, and especially in this past sprint, was building upon what we've already started with the base installation profile for Drupal, and that's adding on top the groups install profile, which really just allows you to create one site with multiple subgroups. And the example there would be if you created a college site, with each department having its own group under that. So that's really getting into the crux of this sprint and what we're doing. And Ryan, if you're ready, I'm going to turn this over to you and make you the presenter.
Absolutely. Ready when you are.
Okay.
Alrighty. Let me get this switched over to my secondary screen. All right, everyone. Hello and welcome to the Sprint demo. I'd like to start actually by giving a couple people major thank yous from us, in particular Miranda for her prompt and helpful feedback on the CBS designs. We really appreciate that, as well as to Baker for ongoing migration help and efforts, and anyone else that I have missed, and we really appreciate the help you guys have been giving. Additionally, I'd like to start by going over some of the QA stuff we took care of in this sprint. The core and the modules have been upgraded for security and for features. That's all been taken care of and is good to go. The panels error regarding attempting to add page content, that's been fixed and it's working correctly. Additionally, the page titles problem has been fixed and those are now displaying across all content types. The difficulty with attaching YouTube videos via the WYSIWYG has been taken care of, so you can now embed as many cat videos as your heart desires. Memcache has stopped throwing errors in locations that don't have Memcache, thanks to some efforts from Larry. And the Acquia keys are no longer being filled in on installation, and documentation has been written about how to find them, for those that do not know already. So as you can see on the screen here, we finally have our UMN group installation profile. We're really pleased about that, and that is set to go. There are some minor issues left to take care of, but we now have a group's profile. And rather than making everyone wait through the installation process, I already have a site spooled up. And first, let's go through the group creation. This is on the group profile. And creating a group is very straightforward. You just go to add content, and then you go to add a group. So this group is going to just be called group 1. We're going to fill in just a little bit of text here. Additionally, there's fields here, as you notice, for various social media pages that are specific to the group. So we're going to fill in just some basic defaults here. Now, it's worth noting that these are not mandatory. It will function just fine if you only wish to fill in 1, 2, 4, or even none. And we're just going to give the RSS feed google.com, since RSS doesn't have a homepage that I'm aware of. So additionally, we have a group footer here. So if your group has something that it would like to display in the footer of all group-related pages, that can be set here. So we'll fill in just a paragraph of text. Let's go ahead and make sure this group is published. And we will save it. So now we have our group 1. Additionally, that's the body field. Because this is the group page and not the group content page, the footer doesn't display. That's by design. That's functioning exactly as it's intended. And one of the things we would certainly like is feedback on whether or not you want that to be changed. So let's actually create some content that is part of the group. And we'll just create a general page. And this will be cleverly and creatively titled General Page 1. We'll give it a little bit of body text. Now, I'd like to take a moment and draw attention to the fact that we now have SoundCloud integration. And in just a moment, I will demonstrate putting in a SoundCloud thing. Reese, if you could do me a small favor and toss me a link to a SoundCloud audio file, I'd really appreciate that. But I'll move on for the moment. So here is the administration menu for assigning what group a given thing applies to. So right now, these are the groups that this particular user belongs to. Additionally, because this user is categorized as a group administrator, I can associate this content with any kind of group that I want. So I'll just go ahead and do it through the drop down since that's a little quicker, and we'll give it a menu link to put it into the main menu. So we'll make it published, and we'll give it the log state of published, and we'll save it. All right, so as you can see, the general page has now appeared in the main menu, and this background is actually malfunctioning right this particular second, but I suspect it's a minor CSS issue. We'll get that taken care of. I don't know why that's appeared here and not in testing before. And now, as you can see in the footer, we have the group footer content. So following that, I'd like to add some quick links because quick links is one of the things that we took care of in this sprint. So let's just go to customize the page. And the left sidebar here looks a little empty. So well, that's curious. Let me do it through the primary system. And for anyone wondering, this is how you manage the actual pages. So if you want to change the global layout for, say, a general page, you would do it through here. So you're now in the page library. So we now have the general page. We'll click on the link. And now you can see all of the things that are in the general page main template. So to add quick links, we'll just click on Add Links. We'll give it a title of Quick Links. See, we don't want the link to be a title, though it can. Or, I'm sorry, we don't want the title to be a link, although it can. And we don't really want this to be reusable. This will be just a one-off. So we'll give it a link to Google. And we'll give it a link to YouTube, since that's been on the menu. And I don't really feel the need to update the preview, so we'll just save it and move on. So now we'll go back to the content page, and we'll view our general page again. I'm going to tab over and really quickly check something. All right, that's interesting. What I suspect happened, everyone, is that the CSS was not compiled at the very last moment, and that's why we're observing a few aesthetic difficulties. So my apologies for that, but that is all it is. The CSS wasn't correctly compiled, so a few things, especially the new items, don't look exactly right. It's not a major cause for concern, and we'll get it rolled into the repo immediately after the demo. So after that, I'd like to go to the configuration page to show the links for the single site alert configuration. This is where, if you wish to have this site to have an alert go off, you can set it all up here. If you check the box, this basically just turns the alert on. If the box is checked, then whatever alert title and body you've selected here will be displayed everywhere. If it's off, it won't. Additionally, there's been some coding done to clear up the varnish cache and the Drupal caches so that whenever you access this field and you set a new title and or you set a new body, then the caches will be cleared and the students will get the new messages immediately. We thought that it was really important to try and make sure that the messages, if you actually need to use the emergency systems, that the messages get out quickly. And so that was one of the steps we took to make sure of that. One of the other things that I wanted to show was the workbench settings. There are now filters for seeing content created by group. So if we go to, for example, My Drafts, and you want to see only things from group 1, the system supports partial as well as full matches. And so if you just type in group and click apply, you'll now see only things that are a part of group 1. Of course, if we had group 2 or group 3, it would show those as well, but we could get more specific. One of the things that everyone was really excited about was the integration of the color module, which is the next thing that I'll demo. So to demo the color module, you go to Appearance, and then you click on the settings for your enabled subtheme. And what is ideally going to occur is that you'll see a group of modules, or you'll see a group of settings here regarding the color module. Let me refresh the page real quick. There we go, much better. So this is the defaults that I set up. Right now, as you can see, you have settings for the page background color, the global text color, pull quote field, background color, the pull quote field, background color, the pull quote field, among many others, and I will not make you sit and listen to me read out all of them. Additionally, there's some other settings here. You have the default site colors, and there's another one that I set up called Firehouse that came with it. It turns one or two things red, just as a demonstration in the code for how to do it. That's since been removed in favor of other in favor of a better and more well-documented solution. So if you go into the code for the color module per the documentation that we will provide, you'll be able to see very easy examples of how to create your own systems. It's essentially infinitely flexible. All you have to do to change whatever you want is click on the value that you wish to change and then drag this around. It's very interactive, and pretty much any color you can think of you can create here. And pretty much any combination, no matter how necessarily advised or ill-advised. If someone really wants pink, they've got it. To see the settings change, you just scroll down to the bottom and click Save Configuration. So right now, if I leave it the way it is, the block quotes will be purple, the pull quote fields will be yellow, and other things will be green. But rather than force everyone to look at that atrocity that would be a color scheme, I'm just going to set it back to the default site colors. So that was the things that I wanted to show off right this particular moment. And Tom, I will turn it back over to you.
Okay, thanks, Ryan.
Unless anyone has any questions.
Yeah, while Ryan still has this up and is sharing his screen, if anyone has any questions right now, it would be a good time. Okay. Okay. Does everyone see the demo slides again? Okay. Just really quick, we had a few stories that were completed during the sprint. They don't necessarily lend themselves well to being part of a demo. Some of this is behind the scenes work and is not exciting. And then, of course, we had a few stories that were not completed. One of the open issues is the user authentication or the shibboleth piece, which we actually did make some progress, and we have essentially just one more piece to test to have that ready to go. And we have actually started next steps and testing that in a multi-site implementation as well on Acquia systems. So we have made progress there, but we are not going to consider that complete until it is absolutely done and implemented. And some of these I've marked with an asterisk just to let you know. Some tickets we create are they're placeholders and they will be ongoing. Uh, just a quick example or two. 21145 was inserted during the sprint for us to test multi-site deployment plans on Acquia, just something we felt was important to get started. And then, one of these is for training notes, which we've actually performed 2 sessions thus far with some of the UMN training folks and just getting them up to speed so that they can start helping everyone inside the UMN community learn the Drupal platform and how to use it and implement your sites there. And some of it, again, is just for as we document through the development process and in going into the next sprint, we'll be focusing mainly on the CBS pilot site. And so some of that is dedicated to planning for that site as well. So these will be ongoing to some degree. And moving forward, really, we're just going to be adding the user stories as part of the CBS site planning and creating those. And we will start sprint planning for Sprint 8, which begins Monday morning. And then our next review will be February 7th, in 2 weeks from now. And again, if there's any bugs or anything like that that you guys notice, which Ryan stumbled across one or two, and we will get those corrected and they'll go into the next sprint. And going forward, we will continue to focus on the user authentication piece. And like I said, just the CBS migration will be the main focus of the next sprint. And again, like we do at the end of every one of these, and we can't overstate the importance of the project team from UMN and what your folks are doing internally to help us build this platform for you overall. And they're doing a lot of hard work. It's going to save a lot of time and effort in the future for the university. And so John and Steve, their leadership on this project has been a great asset for us to have. and just the commitment from some of the folks. Ryan DeBaker, I've seen emails from him at midnight on some of the content migration. Christina is always following up everything on especially on the design pieces. I even see in the chat she was asking about some of it just now. And Jim Hart and David and Jordan, those guys doing some of the design, and even our site owners. We've been working on the graduate school with Molly and Dale, and even now starting on the CBS site with Miranda. Um, they they've been very responsive and helping us and getting started on their piece of the work as far as checking their content and everything. And it's great just working with you guys, and we really appreciate it. So with that, I'll say thank you and turn it over. John, if you or anybody else has any questions right now, we can go through those.
No, I don't have anything. Thank you very much, Tom.
Okay. Okay, if there are no other questions, I will stop the recording and we are done. I wish everybody a happy Friday and have a great weekend. Thank you.